This is Mac from JLPTbootcamp.com here with another N5 grammar lesson. Today we're going to go over how to talk about the past using verbs. So using the past tense of verbs, the casual and the more polite. And if you remember from the last episode, we were on the beach and you had met this beautiful Japanese woman, and you were having a nice conversation with her. And so she's asking you some more questions, but this time about the past. And so the first question she asks is, Suchiruman o mita? You say, それはいい映画だった. So basically she's asking, did you see Steel Man? Obviously this is a completely made up movie title. And you reply, yes, that's a really good movie. And here you're using the casual tense, the past casual tense. And this is what you use to talk about the past casually. Now, N5 level uses mostly polite Japanese. So you'll see a lot of mas and mashita and that ending. And you'll also see a lot of des to make it very polite. There's a lot of polite writing and listening. The grammar section, everything uses mostly polite Japanese. But if you are having a conversation with your friends, your Japanese friends, you're probably going to use this casual tense. And so it's obviously important at any level to kind of start to try to chat as much as possible and experiment with the language as much as possible. And so it's good to know this casual tense. Now, also casual tense will be used on the N5 for basically clauses. For example, if you want to say the movie that I watched, you would say mita eiga. So mita is the past tense of miru, which is to see, and eiga is movie. So mita eiga is the movie that I saw. And you will see things like that on the test for clauses, but you won't. This won't be used for sentence ending sentences. So anyway, for casual past tense, it's rather complicated actually. For go-on verbs, for regular verbs, for most verbs, you can see there's this big chart to follow for conjugations. If this is kind of difficult to master at first, so I encourage you to try to use the past tense as much as possible. And whenever you come upon a new verb, make sure to practice conjugating it real quick in your head. And if you're having a little bit of trouble doing that, make sure you look back at this chart. There's a full chart in the PDF and some mnemonics to help you remember all this. But basically, it's important to try to get this as automatic as possible because this is a real core part of the language, obviously, talking about the past casually. For go-down verbs, here you can see su becomes shita, ku becomes ita, gu becomes ida, mu, bu, nu becomes nda, and ru, u, and tsu become chisai tsu, ta, to convert it to casual past tense. Now, of course, for ichidan verbs, these are what I like to call easy verbs because all you have to do usually is just chop off the ru and add whatever ending you need. In this case, a really popular ichidan verb to use is taberu. Taberu becomes tabeta. So for example, this sentence, sushi o tabeta. I ate sushi. Very easy to make ichidan verbs. Again, ichidan verbs usually end in eru, as in eru if you're romanizing it, or iru, iru. If you're romanizing it. And that's kind of a general rule of thumb, but not all verbs that end with that are ichidan verbs. So just when you learn a new verb, make sure you kind of look real quick, is it ichidan or godan? And for the casual past tense, here's a list of, actually there's 3 irregular verbs for the casual past tense. This is kind of strange. Usually you have suru, kuru. These are always irregular verbs. Suru becomes shita, kuru becomes kita. But for casual past tense, you have iku. Iku becomes ita. There's that little pause there. Normally, if you can remember, a verb ending with ku has ita. So this, if you kind of weren't really paying attention, you might conjugate this as ita, like a long e sound, ita. But it's actually ita with a short pause there. So just a heads up for iku. Now, going back to the situation, your new Japanese friend, she asks you, "Sono eiga no hon mo yonda no?" Did you also read the movie's book? And you reply, "Ie, sono hon wa yomanakatta, nagakatta kara." I didn't read the book. It was long, so I didn't want to read it. Basically, is the quick translation there. Now, you're using the casual negative past tense there with yomanakatta. And this is pretty easy to make. Basically, just take a verb and convert it to the negative form, which we went over in the previous video. For example, for hanasu, you have hanasanai. And then you take the negative form, you cut off the e. So hanasa, so you cut it down to hanasana and make it hanasanakata. I didn't speak. And for example, party ni ikanakata. I didn't go to the party. And so now you're going to go back and talk to her dad. And her dad has some questions for you as well. He asks you, "Griko man o mimashita ka?" "Hai, okikatta desu." You answer. And if you're not familiar with the Griko man here in Osaka, it's a large neon sign with Grikoman on the sign, and usually there's the 4 icons of Osaka up there with them too. Kaiyukan in Tsutenkaku, which is kind of a very short tower. Kaiyukan is the big aquarium here. Kind of a famous in Osaka character in Dotonbori in near the Namba area in Osaka, where it's surrounded by lots of neon. A tourist attraction, basically. And so if you come to Osaka, you should probably see it. And so your friend's dad is asking you, "Did you see Gurikoman?" And you reply, "Yes, I did." And he is using the polite past tense. Again, this is pretty easy to form. Just take the regular verb, hanasu, for godan verbs. Take, for example, hanasu, change that last kana to the e row of kana sounds, in this case, hanashi. If it's iku, for go, it would be iki, so that e sound. And add mashita, sorry. So you would have hanashimashita. And so for example, this example sentence, Tokyo ni ikimashita. I went to Tokyo the other day. And then for ichidan verbs, again, these are the easy ones. You just chop off ru and add mashita. So you'd have tabemashita. And irregulars, suru becomes shimashita, kuru becomes kimashita. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, actually. And her dad has one final question for you. Kaiyukan ni ikimashita ka? Did you go to the Kaiyukan? It's a giant aquarium here in Osaka. And you answer, "Ie, ikimasen deshita." I didn't go to the aquarium, the giant Kaiyukan. And this is the negative past tense, polite past tense. You have to change, again, hanasu to hanashi. You have to change the final kana to the e row of kana and add masen deshita. So for hanasu, you have hanashimasen deshita. For example, biru o nomimasen deshita. I didn't drink beer at the party or whatnot. And for ichidan verbs, again, just chop off the ru, add masen deshita. Pretty straightforward. Suru kuru, suru becomes shimasen deshita, kuru becomes kimasen deshita. That su becomes a shi and ku becomes ki. So that's it for verbs. So let me finish with a quick pop quiz. Here, can you translate this sentence, I walked to the park. Now, walk in Japanese is aruku, and park is koen. So the answer is koen ni aruita. I walked to the park. How about I didn't run to the park? And run is hashiru in Japanese. And this is a casual tense, I should say. The answer would be koen ni hashiranakatta. I didn't run to the park. And in that ni particle, real quick, is basically has a basic meaning of to in this particular sentence. Now, how about for the polite tense? Can you translate this phrase? I paid. And to pay is harau in Japanese. And in polite Japanese, that would be haraimashita. I paid. Again, the u, in this case, u becomes e. The e row of kana, which would just be e in this case, and you just add mashita at the end. And one last one, I didn't study. And to study in Japanese is benkyou suru. And in polite Japanese, that would be benkyou shimasen deshita. So that's it, real quick, just to go over everything real quick again. For the casual past tense, you have a lot of different conjugations there. Again, please check the PDF, the N5 grammar guide at the premium site to kind of help you with these conjugations. And for irregular, always remember iku becomes ita. That's a big kind of a stickler, kind of a weird irregular there. And for casual negative past tense, very simple, just change the verb into the negative form, cut off the e, add kata. So for example, for hanasu, you have hanasnakata. And then for polite past tense, you have to change the last kana to the e row of kana. So hanasu becomes hanashi, and you just add mashita to that. So hanashi mashita. For ichidan verbs, the easy ones, you just cut off the ru and add mashita. For surukuru, just change to shi and ki and add mashita. And then for the polite negative past tense, again, you switch that to the last kana to the e row of kana and change it into hanashi, and then add masen deshita. So hanashi masen deshita. Ichidan verbs, just cut off the ru, and you have masen deshita. Surukuru becomes shinki, and add the masen deshita. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this short lesson. For more information and for all the information about N5 grammar, please check out the N5 grammar guide at the premium site. You can pick it up there, and it will help you pass the N5 test with in less time and with less pain. All right, I hope to see you soon. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.